Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another live stream. Haven't done this in a while, but here we are, another live stream, and we're going to be talking about a big piece of potential transfer news as far as what Liverpool Football Club are concerned with. Of course, big news broke yesterday evening from one David Ornstein, and we all know that when David Ornstein drops a big bomb, it is going to go off. And that's exactly what has happened. And it, of course, involves Napoli winger. Oh, God, I'm going to butcher his name, so I do apologize. Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia. That's what I was meant to say. Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. And, of course, as we know, he is a player that has attracted a lot of interest over the years. He has really grown and evolved at Napoli and has become so notorious in European football that he is one of the most sought of wingers, players, footballers in general of this current generation. And Liverpool Football Club seemingly are keeping tabs on this player. But in saying that, there seemingly is a whole host of football clubs, European big boys in particular, that are doing the same thing and keeping him on their radar, because it does seem likely that Kvaratskhelia will be leaving Napoli this January. I do apologize if I'm butchering his name, by the way. We're going to go with Kvaratskhelia and hope for the best. So we're going to hope for the best in terms of that, in terms of that score. But yes, I do apologize, but that does seem to be the case. It seems to be the case that Kvaratskhelia is going to be on the move this January. But the question is, who will buy Kvaratskhelia? Where does his footballing future lie? That is the big question, as there doesn't seem to be a shortage of options for the Georgian winger to choose from. There seems to be a lot of interested parties. And for £65 million, seemingly, reportedly, the price, who can blame all of those parties for being interested? So my question to you people is, where do you see the future of this Georgian winger lying? Will it be with Liverpool? Will it be with someone else? We're going to be getting into all of that and much more as the live stream goes on. We're going to be talking all about Kvaratskhelia. We're going to be talking about Liverpool in particular, because obviously Ornstein dropped the bomb that it is Liverpool interested last night, as are a few other clubs as well, which we will go on and mention. But before we go any further in discussing all of that, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section as well. Get involved in the chat. Would love to hear what you have to say on this particular topic. I'm going to be talking a lot about Kvaratskhelia, because let's face it, it has been a pretty dead and boring transfer window so far. Could this be the spark that ignites a transfer window that is going to be massively important? There's a lot of leagues out there, not just the Premier League, but a lot of leagues in general, that are hanging in the balance right now. And a good January transfer window could honestly tip the scales in whatever team's favour that may be. And even though Liverpool are like 6 points clear right now, a good transfer window for them could firmly take their grasp on the Premier League to a whole new level. So we're going to get into all of that. Like I say, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, hit the comments, hit the chat. Would love to hear from you all. Right now, we're going to get on to this big news story. So, like I say, in the past few days, we've heard a lot about Kvaratskhelia. We've heard a lot about how he could be on the move from Napoli this summer. This January transfer window. We have heard a lot of, in the past, news about him in terms of he's going to attracting interest from all sorts of clubs. PSG in particular is one name that will simply not go away from being linked with the Georgian international. But now it seems there are other parties that are definitely involved. Arsenal have been reportedly involved. Newcastle have been linked with signing him. And now it seems that Liverpool and Chelsea are also in the running as well. David Ornstein last night, we know how credible he is. We know how like I say, when he drops a Ornstein bomb on Twitter, now known as X, we know it goes off. And he put out last night, Liverpool could consider move to sign Khvicha Kvaratskhelia if he leaves Napoli in January. Liverpool not actively seeking winger, but admire the 23-year-old, alert to the situation, may contend if market opportunity presents itself. PSG and Chelsea also among interested clubs. So there's a lot to digest there. What we know is that if Ornstein does drop something Liverpool related, there is some weight behind it. So this isn't like a random guy, a random journalist on Twitter putting out this kind of stuff. This is Ornstein. So this has come somewhere from the club. So we know there is concrete interest there, because we know that Liverpool like to do things behind closed doors. We know they like to do things secretly. We know they like to do things unless there's some sort of some weight behind it. They will not release anything to any so-called tier one journalists, Romano, Ornstein, Joyce, so on and so forth. We know that Liverpool don't release this kind of stuff unless they are ready and prepared to do so. Look at what happened with Zubimendi, for example. I know it didn't materialize, but there was definite interest. We definitely were in for him, and he just chose to stay at Sociedad rather than make the move to Liverpool. We know that. We understand that. The next point is when he goes, we're not actively seeking the winger. So that says to me he's not a priority, but should he obviously become available and should the opportunity present itself, we will go in for him. Now, the reported figure is somewhere, supposedly, that sunlight is really doing my head in, by the way. I really do apologize. It's really low and annoying sunlight. I might have to try and sort that out in a second. Actually, I'll do it now. Bear with me. That has done absolutely nothing. That has done absolutely nothing. This is so awkward. The sunlight was fine. That has still done nothing. Really sorry. Right. There we go. Just tilted it the wrong way. Right. The sunlight is just in an awkward place. Do apologize. Right. Kvaratskhelia. Sorry. Very awkward. It wasn't like that. And I didn't really notice it until it's just started. And now it's just in my vision, in my eyesight. Right. Second part about Kvaratskhelia. We're not actively seeking this deal, apparently. Apparently, we're not actively seeking this deal. But if the opportunity presents itself, we're going to go in for him. Now, Personally, I'll get onto my personal feelings in a minute, but that's just basically what Ornstein is saying. And then he's also saying that other teams are interested. We know that. He's a massive player for Napoli. He has been very explosive since breaking onto the scene a few years ago with Napoli on both a Serie A level and a Champions League level as well. This guy has made a real name for himself, gained a huge amount of notoriety. It's only right that a lot of big clubs and a big lot of European clubs at that are interested in signing this guy. What I do, my thoughts on this are simple. Kvaratskhelia would be an amazing addition, an incredible addition to Liverpool Football Club. Absolutely insane addition. He is a top quality winger. He has got a lot of skill, a lot of flair, an abundance of creativity. He would be a fantastic addition to Liverpool. On that left-hand side, him, if we can get Salah's contract situation for the next couple of years at the very least, Kvaratskhelia on one wing, Mohamed Salah on the other, and then a striker. If we can keep Jota fit, Jota will be scoring goals all day long from these two. If we can find another striker, an Alexander Isak maybe, they will be feeding two. My issue is that I don't trust this Liverpool board anymore. From the summer that we had, I don't trust them to make this kind of thing official. It is a bit weird that we've dropped this into the media. We've dropped this into the hands of David Ornstein to run with. So you would imagine we're going to do something about it. But I don't trust. And not only that, but when you consider that there's Chelsea involved, for example, who have stolen 2 players or 3 players from us over the past few years in terms of tug-of-war transfer sagas, I don't trust Liverpool to carry out the job until, of course, I see it's done, dusted, official, and he's holding up a Liverpool shirt to say he's signed. I don't trust that kind of process. But at least I can look at this and dream and hope. Because, like I say, Kvaratskhelia would be a wonderful addition to Liverpool Football Club. He's an upgrade on every winger, barring Mohamed Salah, that we have. Like I say, it's not just about his creativity, his skill, his flair that he possesses. It's not about his level of trickery. It's not about all of that stuff. There's also a sense of personality about him. There's a sense of a swagger and a bit of an arrogance about him, which can be a good thing for a player of his caliber. And obviously, like I say, his creativity and his skill level. There's also a sense of versatility. He can play as a second striker. He can play on the opposite wing. He can play anywhere across that forward line. That versatility could be very, very useful, considering, you know, our striker situation isn't exactly amazing right now. Isn't exactly the most reliable for different reasons. Our left wing situation, Cody Gakpo's been fantastic this season, but in my personal opinion, Kvaratskhelia is an upgrade on him. I like this potential move. But at the same time, in saying that I like this potential move, I'm going to say that I'm a little bit concerned that A, this is seemingly the only piece of real news that has come out about Liverpool this January, when it's clear we need a couple of players to bolster and reinforce our squad. And secondly, I'm concerned because this isn't exactly a position that I would have personally gone for. Now, don't get me wrong, the opportunity presents itself, and if you have the opportunity to upgrade on your current squad, I say you go for it. However, In saying that, an injury to Jarell Quansah midweek means that our only proper fit centre-backs are Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahim Konate. And Konate does look a little rusty, having only just come back from injury. Our then third choice centre-back is seemingly Endo, who isn't exactly a centre-back himself, but is being put there as a makeshift centre-back to just play alongside whilst Konate builds up his match fitness. Centre-back would have been probably the main area I would have been looking at in reinforcing, especially because it doesn't seem like Slot is completely sold on Quansah himself, even if he was fit for this season. The next part I would look at, left back. We have two left backs now that are about as good and at the same time as bad as each other. And both haven't exactly been convincing. Andy Robertson has seemingly passed it. Kostas Tsimikas has never exactly been the most reliable to me. I would have looked at left back being an area where we need to strengthen. I would also maybe still look at a DM. As fantastic and as incredible as what Ryan Gravenberch has been this season, you do fear that no cover there could come back to bite us if or when that bridge does eventually need to be crossed. And then, of course, striker. I mentioned earlier, the striker situation is unreliable for completely different reasons. One of the main reasons is Darwin Núñez is about as useful as a solar-powered torch. He's awful. He is awful. And I'm past the point where I can't defend him anymore. I'm past the point where I can't defend him anymore. I got to that point towards the end of last season. He's just I can't defend him. I really, really cannot defend how poor this guy is and how much we expect more out of our club record signing, and he's not delivering and he's failing to deliver. And every time you feel like he's getting to that moment, every time you feel like, oh, maybe this could be the turning point for Darwin Núñez, it isn't. It isn't. He goes back to factory settings for the next game. I'm done, and he's done at Liverpool as far as what I'm concerned. If we can maybe offload him, maybe use him as a bit of counterweight, put some money in, put Darwin Núñez in as well as a part exchange deal for Kvaratskhelia, this would be an absolute genius move by Liverpool, by Richard Hughes, by Michael Edwards, and whoever else. It only makes sense. It only makes sense. And Diogo Jota, look, Jota's amazing. Jota's fantastic. But he's unreliable in a different way, in the fact that injuries, fitness is somewhat of a concern. If he could get over that, fantastic. But at the same time, we would still need depth because Darwin Núñez does not provide depth. And Luis Diaz, I think he's been great playing as a makeshift striker this season, but he's more of a situational striker. He's not really someone you can play there constantly and consistently. He is a situational striker that, as amazing as he is, and as amazing as he has been this season more so, not exactly the most reliable in that kind of position. More natural in his more favoured position. Like I said, Kvaratskhelia would provide incredible reinforcement to this Liverpool team. If anyone isn't sold by this idea of buying Kvaratskhelia, though, because my area of concern, as much as I say all of those things, is he'll be a fantastic addition, but I think we need others in other areas. Is that this club does not operate on we need this player, but we're going to go after this player instead. That's how the club operates. The club doesn't operate on, we need this player, so we're going to get this player, And this player, we don't necessarily need, but it's a fantastic opportunity to buy him. So we'll go and buy him as well. We don't operate like that. We operate, it's either one or the other. And 9 times out of 10, we're going to go for the player that we don't necessarily need. If we were to get both a centre-back and Kvaratskhelia, amazing. Incredible. But we're probably not. And I don't even think we're going to get Kvaratskhelia either in this transfer window. It's just one of those things that is going to be happening. Nick Fadley. All right. Love it, bro. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Welcome along to the stream. Interested to get your take on this situation, my friend. So, yeah, I don't necessarily think we're going to get the priorities that we need and Kvaratskhelia at the same time. I don't even probably think we're going to get Kvaratskhelia, in all honesty. I have not got any faith in this current setup of Liverpool behind the scenes to actually do anything in this transfer window and to strengthen our position in the Premier League right now. Obviously, prove me wrong, and I hope they prove me wrong on that, but that's just my personal take on this news of Liverpool and Kvaratskhelia. And if anyone's out there thinking that Kvaratskhelia is not worth going for, I have to ask, what do you think is worth going for? Because right now, Napoli are top of Serie A. They are being spearheaded by Antonio Conte's mastermind brilliance. Spearheaded by the likes of Romelu Lukaku. And of course, this player who has scored 5 goals and assisted 3 times in 17 appearances this season alone. And they're only halfway through the Serie A season. Last season, Napoli finished mid-table. And he still managed to record 19 GA for a mid-table Napoli side. 11 goals and 8 assists. In the season in which he first burst onto the scene in Serie A, having made the move to Napoli, in a season in which Napoli incredibly won the Serie A title and won it at an incredible rate, an incredible speed, and an incredible easy pace. Kvaratskhelia burst onto the scene that season, and him and Victor Osimhen produced an insane partnership. And he himself recorded 12 goals and 13 assists in Serie A alone in 34 appearances. This guy is incredible. He has recorded, I believe it's somewhere in the region of 30 goals and 29 assists in 107 games for Napoli. This guy is insane. He is an upgrade on what we have at Liverpool already in terms of wing positions. That isn't, of course, an alien in Mohamed Salah. This guy is incredible. My father is FSG owner, so don't criticize him. You were joking. Of course you were. I'm not a Liverpool fan, but been subscribing for you for a few months now. Thank you very much, bro. I really appreciate that. Who do you support then? Who do you support? That is very much appreciated, though. Thank you for continuing the support to the channel. We'd really be interested to see who you support, and if you maybe have a horse in this race. You might have told me already, but my memory is absolutely terrible, so I do apologize if you have already mentioned it. But yeah, it does show that Kvaratskhelia, and especially because Napoli have had a couple of managers over the past years. I'm not saying, you're not saying. Come on, don't be embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about here. Is it Man United? It's Man United, isn't it? It's Man United, isn't it? Then again, we're embarrassed from the performance last week, if it is. So, Yeah, that's kind of a bit awkward. I want to know. Yeah, Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia. Shelia. All I know is that Liverpool are putting together a side that if you were to play their names in Scrabble, you'd win easily. Soboslai, Mamardashvili coming in the summer, who, by the way, is Georgian himself. So potentially there is two Georgian players that Liverpool may have in their ranks by the start of next season. And Dominic Soboslai. You put them names in a game of Scrabble, you win hands down. He's an upgrade on what we have. He's an upgrade on what we have, and he instantly becomes one of the best wingers in the Premier League if he was to come in. I think he's insane. I think that with the past couple of managers that Napoli have had, this guy has still managed to perform at a consistent level. He has been nothing more than incredible as far as what Napoli are concerned. And I think for £65 million, which is the rumoured fee to sign him, it's a no-brainer from me. It's an absolutely no-brainer. And it's a no-brainer for anybody else out there who wants to take him as well. Arsenal should be all over this. Arsenal should be all over this deal. Chelsea, as much as you have an abundance of wingers, he's an upgrade on every winger that you probably have at the club right now. Especially if obviously you're saying Jadon Sancho's on loan. Bringing him in is an instant mega upgrade. Everyone should be in for this. Everybody. Don't care whether you're Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal. You might as well, as Man United, even throw your hat into the ring. The guy is insane. The guy is awesome. And like I say, my only concern with this transfer regarding Liverpool themselves is that I worry that we've got other areas of this club that needs to be addressed, other areas of the squad that needs to be addressed, and we're not going to address them as well as get someone we don't necessarily need. Because he's in a position we don't necessarily need, but he's probably a player that we need, if that makes sense. We don't need to focus on left wing, but he's an upgrade on Chiesa. He's an upgrade on Cody Gakpo. He's an upgrade on Luis Diaz. As good as what those two in particular have been this season, he's an upgrade on them, in my personal opinion. But we don't necessarily need that position. What we do necessarily need is a centre-back, a left-back, a striker, maybe a DM, but not necessarily at this current stage a left winger. But if the opportunity presents itself, and for £65 million, £65 million, he is going to be available for, bite the bullet, and sign him. Put the money on the table and sign him. Because it will be an incredible addition to the side. It will reinforce the side brilliantly. It means that you can maybe move Diaz more centrally for him to cover other areas, or maybe Kvaratskhelia himself can obviously move across. We've already spoke about how versatile he is. That could also happen as well. But the more and more I talk about it, the more and more I get worked up. I do fear that we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it again. And I have PTSD from other players that we tried to sign in the past. FSG, Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, they've done nothing so far. They've done nothing so far. And Jordan, hey dude, how you doing? Long time no see, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Good to have you here. Interested to get your thoughts, bro, on this Kvaratskhelia link. So far, the whole regime has not done anything. Nothing in terms of, well, very little. Mamardashvili is coming through the door in the summer. We've signed Chiesa, who we've only seen for about half an hour in a League Cup game. No new contracts, no new signings. There's nothing there. There's been very little to nothing there so far from this ownership, from the ownership, from anything that's happened behind the scenes. There's been nothing. There's been absolutely nothing. And they really do need to pull their finger out. They really, really do need to pull their finger out, because there is a potential for a historic, incredible, phenomenal season ahead of us. We're 6 points clear at the top of the table. We are currently, I'll read that out in a second. We are currently top of the Champions League table. There's a potential here for a historic making season. We've got a second leg of a Carabao Cup to go. We're 1-0 down, but I would still make us favourites to beat Tottenham in the second leg. And the only way to reinforce that season potentially becoming a reality is to go out this January and sign a couple of players. Not just anybody, but just going to their clubs and laying the money down on the table. We did nothing in the summer. Last season, not last summer, but the summer before, we laid the money on the table down for Moises Caicedo. He accepted. The club of Brighton accepted. He turned us down and favoured Chelsea instead. Where has that money gone? Because we've certainly not bought any players with it. 10 million on Chiesa. That's it. That's all we've done in the past 18 months or so. Where has that money gone? If we were willing to put down 115 million for Caicedo, why are we not willing to put the money down for this? Because now we have to. They have to deliver. Because, again, Liverpool don't drop stuff like this to media or to top-tier journalists unless there's some weight behind it. So now they have to go out and do something. They have to go out and make a statement. They have to go out and lay them and put their money where their mouth is. Otherwise, what have they been doing for the past several months? Why are they not seeing the bigger picture? And why are they letting a potential season which could have massive and major success in not just one competition, but potentially multiple, go to waste? Because I'm telling you now, if we don't sign anyone this January and we go on and lose the league and not win anything this season, I can put it down to certain players and certain individual performances. I could maybe, at a real push, blame Slot. And everybody would have to take responsibility. But the main culprit behind a potential failure of a season is the ownership for not pulling their finger out more and for not pushing the boat out more when there's a massive opportunity to do so. City are reinforcing, but they're being forced into it because their season is underwhelming. Arsenal, look, you can never obviously say that they're not going to do anything, but the rumours are, the whispers are, is that Arsenal aren't looking to do any major business this January, even if they are being linked with Alexander Isak and even Kvaratskhelia himself. So the opportunity is again there in Liverpool's hands to grasp. Take it by both hands. Tighten your grip on what you have. But so far, we've been sat there doing nothing. Sat there doing nothing. We're not even re-signing new contracts. Although, as I say, there is some sources saying that Virgil van Dijk is about to renew his contract with Liverpool. Now, how much you can really read into that or not remains to be seen. And again, I obviously will not be passing judgment until obviously it is done, dusted, official and confirmed. But the fact of the matter is, these owners have done nothing for the past 18 months or so. The Liverpool board, which has changed so much in the past few years, has done very little in terms of sorting out these contracts. The new Liverpool board of this season has done very little in terms of research, finding gems. And this is my argument again that I always come back to. How can a team like Brighton, and I always use Brighton as my prime and main example for this run. How can a team like Brighton go out there time and time and time again and find these absolute nobodies that they pick up for cheap money? Shine up those little gems, give them a platform to perform, and then sell them on for 10, 15, 20 times their original price. Why can't we do that? Why can't we do that instead of doing it like what they do? How is it always like a Brighton that does that? How is it never a Liverpool that finds them? And if we do, they're already in our academy, and only a couple of them make it out. It's just weird to me. It's just so weird to me. And like I say, I don't necessarily get it. I don't get the entirety of the situation in regards to our ownership right now, what we are currently doing. I don't get the whole Mohamed Salah situation. I don't get the Trent Alexander-Arnold situation. I don't get the Virgil van Dijk situation. I just don't get what we're doing in any of these scenarios and any of these situations. I really, really don't. And like I say, I'll reiterate this point again. The season is there for the taking. The season is 100% there for the taking. And right now, we're waiting for something to fall into our laps rather than us go out there and take it. We're not acting like the big club we should be. A big club goes out there and makes it happen. Man City, that Mamouche guy playing in the Bundesliga, they're going out there and making it happen in January. None of this ridiculous, well, the market's not really right, the market's not really available to us, and, no one's really spending any money in January anyway. Ridiculous. Go out there and make it happen. Every club has that potential. Every club has the possibility of doing that. So why don't we go out and make it happen? I think that's a fair enough question to ask, isn't it? Isn't it? Fair question to ask, maybe. I just see it as, once again, it could potentially be a missed opportunity. I spoke in the summer about how it was a massive missed opportunity to not go and buy anybody, especially when you're looking at City not doing a great deal of business last summer, Arsenal seemingly not getting all that they wanted and having to make do with bargain signings or cut price deals to sign certain players that they wanted. I'm looking at Raheem Sterling on loan, prime example. There was an opportunity there for Liverpool to really go out and do something in that summer. And the best that we could muster was a goalkeeper that wasn't going to even come in that summer. And we're going to have to wait till the summer of 2025 to bring him in. And the second one was Federico Chiesa, who I don't doubt he's a great player, but I did question his injury record. And so far, we've only seen him for about half an hour or so because of his injury record, as I predicted. Opportunity knocks. We've got to answer the door. Simple as that. Simple as that. And we're seemingly not doing it right now. Is Trent's transition to Madrid really happening? The talk's gone quiet on that, to be honest. The talk's gone quiet on Trent to Madrid, at least for January. I don't know if that's on Madrid's side, on Trent's side, if there is maybe something going on behind the scenes we're not fully aware of as of right now. But talks have seemingly very much cooled on the Trent Alexander-Arnold situation as far as what January is concerned. We definitely need to get that sorted one way or another. And not only that, but Liverpool fans need to know as well. Like, the fans need to definitely know what's happening with that situation as well. As much as the players do, as much as the players can then put it behind them and move on, the fans need to know as well what is happening with this Trent Alexander-Arnold situation. It's this is the thing. It's all right doing things in secret and behind closed doors, but it does affect a fan base when they don't know. So as much as it can be a good thing to obviously keep your business and your cards close to your chest, it can affect a fan base, which it is doing. And it can affect, obviously, the media, because the media start putting out these stories and fans then start getting worried about certain things and certain aspects. And it just becomes an unwanted distraction. And I remember saying in a previous video that I did about Trent Alexander-Arnold that, again, speaking about how this could be a very interesting and very successful season potentially for Liverpool. I basically said that this is an unwanted distraction alongside of, if it was just one contract, it wouldn't mean as much. But when you add this to the Virgil van Dijk situation and then the Mohamed Salah situation as well, it's not helpful. It's not helpful. And it's a very big unwanted distraction you don't want at your club or being discussed in the media. Sky and Jamie Carragher especially are having a field day talking about it each and every single time it's brought up. Each and every single time it's brought up, they're having an absolute field day talking about this situation. And there's praise for Virgil van Dijk, but there's no praise for Salah. There's no praise for Trent. And to be fair, I don't blame Salah for talking about it. There's three different aspects in all three of these. Van Dijk's waving everything away. He's saying he's not going to discuss his future in public. It's just not happening. He's mainly focused on trying to win the league with Liverpool. Trent, in my opinion, is seemingly using the Real Madrid situation to maybe get a better deal out of Liverpool. I believe that is the case when it comes to Trent Alexander-Arnold. And Mohamed Salah's situation is he's performing on the pitch. He is doing everything he can on the pitch to say, I am worth the money that I am demanding. I am worth the time and effort I am demanding. So give me what I want. But we're not apparently watching his performances. We're not apparently looking at his performances. So he's grown tired and now he's putting it out in the media because he's sick and tired of waiting around for us. And that's why we're playing with so much fire right now. Because what if eventually we do cave into their demands and we give them what they want? But because we wasted so much time and effort in doing that, maybe they turn around to us and say no. Maybe they don't feel valued enough at this football club because we wasted their time. What if that happens? FSG, Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, all playing with fire right now. Whether it be in terms of contracts for players we currently have, or for transfer fees and contracts for players that we could potentially go and buy. It's a very risky situation. It's a high-profile situation. But if we want to act like a big club, which we claim we are, these are the situations you've got to be in. These are the situations you've got to be in. And if you don't like it, get out. If you can't handle it, get out and we'll try and find someone who can. Because like I say, the new regime behind the scenes has done absolutely nothing for the past several months. They signed a goalkeeper that we're not going to get until the summer of 2025. They signed a winger who is more accustomed to our medical room than he is with Anfield on the pitch. And that's it. That's all that they've seemingly done. They're waiting. They're waiting. They're waiting. Like I say, you wait too long, players start to feel disrespected. People start to feel like they're not wanted. People start to think you're not a priority. And then they turn their attention to someone who will show them that they are a priority. We waited for Chelsea to put in a bid for Moises Caicedo before we did. We then lost Moises Caicedo. Who's to say it won't happen with Trent? Who's to say it won't happen with Virgil van Dijk? Who's to say it won't happen with Mohamed Salah? And who's to say it won't happen with any player that we seemingly want to bring in? Especially for someone who is as highly rated, highly thought of, heavily wanted by a lot of other clubs. In this prime example of Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. I swear to God, that is going to really bug me now. Saying his name several times and getting a different pronunciation each time is really going to do my head in. But you know who I'm talking about. I want this guy at my club because I want what's best for Liverpool Football Club. But I also need these owners to pull their finger out as well. Because I can sit here and I can go, Kvaratskhelia is an upgrade on everything that we have. But we have other problems we need to fix. We've got a centre-back. Away, injury away from playing Endo there. We have got a left-back situation, which both are poor. We've got a striker situation in which the main two are very unreliable. And our third choice striker is not really even a striker, but he's not even our third choice striker no more. He's more of our first or second choice, depending on whether Diogo Jota is fit or not. That's the situation we currently find ourselves in. And yet, there is talk about getting a top quality, top class winger, left winger at that, for a bargain of a deal, in my opinion. Lay the money on the table and go out there and make a statement. That's just my opinion on that matter. Marmoush, I'm not going to lie. He's not really someone that I've watched beyond this season. And the only reason why I've took obviously a bit of a shine to him and seeing him is another reason that I've heard that Liverpool are interested, because he's having a phenomenal season in the Bundesliga. Is it just a case of him being a one-season wonder, or is he the real deal? I don't know. I'm not going to even claim that I've watched him before. I've not really seen a lot of him before this season. So I'm not going to pretend like I've seen him a great deal, because I haven't beyond this past season. But Man City seem to be in a position where they're prepared to drop 50 million on him. And for a player who is seemingly scoring goals for fun in the Bundesliga right now, for a player who this season especially has taken the Bundesliga by storm, I don't know. I'm just having a look at his stats for this season. So he's 25 years of age. He scored 13 goals and assisted 8 times this season so far in the Bundesliga. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. Joined last year. Who was he playing before? So he's been in and around the Bundesliga for a while. Was at Wolfsburg, St. Pauli, Stuttgart. Obviously made the transfer to Frankfurt. "13 goals, 8 assists this season and 15 appearances. He's also got 4 goals and 2 assists in the Europa League in 6 appearances. And in the German Cup, he's also scored 1 goal and got 2 assists in 3 appearances. This guy is having a monster of a season. An absolute monster of a season. Last season for Frankfurt, he got 12 goals and 6 assists in 29 appearances. That's respectable. 4 goals in the Conference League in 7 appearances. It's not bad. In the 22-23 season, he was at Wolfsburg. 5 goals and 1 assist in 33 appearances. Played probably about 15 games though with his. It looks like with his minutes, he probably played around about 15 or so games. So he does seem to be on the progression. He does seem to be on the up. Like I say, I've not paid too much attention to him beyond this past season, so I don't want to necessarily like pass judgment. I don't want to be one of these people that goes, "Oh yeah, I know him. I know his game inside and out. He does this, this, and this. He's a physical striker. He's tall in the air. He's this, he's that, he's the other." Unless I've definitely seen him, which I've not. I'm not going to lie to you. I've not seen a massive deal of this guy, but his stats are pretty big. So the only thing is like 50 million. If that's rumored to be the sort of fee that City are looking to pay for him, 50 million for a player that's having this monster of a season. No one else going to jump on that. No one else going to be looking at that and thinking, yeah, we should also be involved in that race somewhere along the line. I don't know, but it does seem like Man City will probably get their man anyway. So yeah, it's gonna make things a lot interesting there, and again, it's somewhat strange because I wouldn't say that they need a new striker, Man City. I would say that they need to focus more so on other areas of the pitch themselves. And it's similarly to what I was saying about Liverpool. We need to focus on left back. We need to focus on centre back. We need to focus on maybe a striker. We don't necessarily need to focus on left wing. And I would say the same with Man City. I'd say that they don't need to focus specifically on striker. They need to focus on upgrading their wingers. They need to focus on getting a stronger midfield. They need to focus on their defense. But they're still going out there and they're putting in the effort to buy a player that maybe they don't necessarily need, but they want. We should do the same. We should do the same in this situation. Kvaratskhelia is not someone that's a necessity, in my opinion. He's not someone that should be a number one top priority. But if the money is there, if the bargain is there to be had, take him. Take him. If the opportunity presents itself to upgrade your team in whichever way, shape, or form, take him. And that's for me is the way that things should go from here. We should take Kvaratskhelia in the way that Man City are taking Marmoush. I don't necessarily think that Marmoush himself is going to change City's fortunes by any stretch of the imagination for this season. I think that what we have seen from City this season is a midfield that is unreliable. We've seen a defense which looks weak. But at the same time, if the opportunity presents itself to strengthen your squad in whatever area it may be, take that player. Kvaratskhelia, for me, is someone that Liverpool need to take the gamble on, is someone that Liverpool need to just in general need to add to their squad, reinforce their squad, make their squad better, because he is an upgrade. He is a big upgrade, and yeah, if you're a Liverpool fan that's not happy about this news, if you're a Liverpool fan that's not exactly on board with signing Kvaratskhelia, I hope I've tried to convince you otherwise, because I don't know what more I can do to try and convince you. I don't understand what your argument would be for not signing Kvaratskhelia anyway. I've thrown in a few caveats, of course, but it's nothing to do with the player himself. It's more to do with the club. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Bottom line, I don't think we're going to sign him anyway, but it's just worth talking about, because obviously David Ornstein's put it out there. We know that when Ornstein does do something like this, there is genuine weight behind it. There is legs to this story. So I thought, why not talk about it? And anyway, this situation is going to be very interesting anyway, because it does seem like the winger is going to be leaving Napoli this January, or at least in the next several months. The question obviously is, where will he go? The Premier League would be incredible for him. I just have a feeling that PSG is going to be where he ends up. I just have a feeling that PSG are going to offer him a monumental contract. I think they're going to prioritize him. I think they're going to give him the main character sort of syndrome kind of feel. And I just feel like PSG is where he's going to end up going forward. But we shall see what happens on the future of Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. Liverpool are interested, but as are a whole host of European giant teams. We shall see what the future holds for the Georgian winger. And I'm going to wrap it up there, guys, because I feel like I am repeating myself a little bit. So I'm going to wrap it up here. These are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever I'm going to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of anything and everything that I talked about in this video in regards to Liverpool and their interest in Khvicha Kvaratskhelia? Let me know in the comment section what you guys are thinking and feeling. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Thank you to everybody that's contributed in the chat, to Jordan who chimed in, to everybody else that was in, and of course to Nick who, of course, contributed the most in the chat as well. So thank you all for doing that. Very much appreciated. Very much appreciated as well for your continued support on the channel. And if you are brand new, of course, welcome along. All of you guys are awesome. Can't thank you enough. Your support for the channel and to myself, of course, will always be appreciated and never taken for granted. So thank you all so much for that. Hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you are new and want to see more content like this. Both things always and forever be greatly appreciated. Otherwise, I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks live stream. And I will see you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you all again very, very, very soon. Peace.